Okay. So again, example number one, we have the graph of the hyperbola, and we are asked to identify the location of the center, length of transverse axis, length of conjugate axis, write the standard equation, and we have to identify the foci. So the center of the hyperbola, to identify the center of the hyperbola, we need to determine the coordinates of the vertices. Since yung ating center is the midpoint of the vertices or midpoint of the transverse axis. So based on our given, ito yung vertices natin, vertex 1, vertex 2. Ayan. So yung midpoint nito, nandun yung ating center. So we can use the midpoint formula. Or, since given yung graph, pwede nating by observation na lang. Kahit hindi mo na gamitin yung midpoint formula. And based on the given graph, the center is located here. So the coordinates of the center is at 3, 2. So the center is at 3, 2. 3, 2. Now we are asked to find the length of the transverse axis. Again, the transverse axis is the line segment joining the vertices. So from vertex 1 to vertex 2, yun yung ating transverse axis. So kapag given yung graph, mas madali na bilangin na lang. No, pwede mo rin gamitan ng distance formula. Pero again, given naman yung graph, bilangin na lang natin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 units. So our transverse axis 2A is equals 6. The length of the conjugate axis, yung conjugate axis natin is perpendicular to our transverse axis. And that is the line joining the 0.37 and 0.3 negative 3. Yung nating blue. So if we connect 0.37 and 0.3 negative 3, this is our conjugate axis. So again, we can find the distance between 37 and 3 negative 3 to find the length of the conjugate axis. Pero pwedeng bilangin na lang natin ulit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our conjugate axis, which is 2B, is equal to 10. So write the equation, standard equation of the hyperbola. Now since our hyperbola, yung branches ng hyperbola ay nag-open sa left and right, and we have a horizontal transverse axis. Kapag horizontal yung transverse axis natin, ang gagamitin nating standard equation is x minus h squared all over a squared minus y minus k squared all over b squared equals 1. So yung hk natin is the center. So ang center natin ay 3, 2. 2a is 6. We need to divide by 2 to find a. So a equals 3. A lang kasi yung kailangan natin sa standard equation. And 2b natin is 10. So our b is equal to 5. Divide lang by 2. Substitute dito sa ating standard form, we have x minus 3 squared over 3 squared minus y minus k squared at y minus k, ang k natin ay 2. So y minus 2 all over 5 squared equals 1. Simplifying the denominator, x minus 3 squared over 9 minus y minus 2 squared over 25 equals 1. So ito na ngayon yung standard equation. Now, we are also asked to determine the value of or the coordinates of the foci. So sa letter E, so to find the coordinates of the foci, we need letter C. Yung C natin, this is the distance between the center and the focus. So meron tayong formula na C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So C is equal to square root of A squared plus B squared. Ang A natin is 3. So square root of 3 squared plus 5 squared. So 9 square root of 9 plus 25 square root of 34. Square root of 34 is 5.83. Yung 5.83 na to, this is equal to C or the distance. Ay, sorry. Wala na pala yung square root doon. 5.83 na lang. So yung 5.83, ito yung distance ni center kay focus, doon sa dalawang focus. So to identify or to locate the foci, we need to count 5.83 mula kay center na 3, 2. Bibilang tayo pakaliwa at saka pakanan. So C natin is 5.83. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.83. So ang coordinates ng F1 natin is at negative 2.83, 2. Dito naman sa kabila is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.83. Yung F2 naman natin is at 8.83, 2. So yun yung coordinates ng ating foci. Next, example number 2. So we have the graph of the hyperbola, and katulad din ng una, we are asked to identify the location of the center, the length of the transverse axis, conjugate axis, standard equation, and identify the foci. So same lang din yung magiging solution natin. First is to identify the center. The center is at the midpoint of the transverse axis. In this case, yung transverse axis natin ay vertical. Since yung hyperbola natin nag-open up at saka down. So ito yung ating vertices. Vertex 1 tsaka vertex 2. If we connect ayan, V1 and V2, we have our transverse axis. At yung midpoint nito, yung ating center. Based on observation, our center is located at negative 1, negative 3. So the coordinates of the center is negative 1, negative 3. Letter B. To find the length of the transverse axis, again, bilangin lang natin ito from vertex 1 to vertex 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yung transverse axis natin is 10. Yung ating conjugate axis naman sa letter C, ganun din. Yung conjugate axis naman natin ay magiging horizontal. Ito. Pag pinag-connect natin yung negative 7, negative 3, at saka yung 5, negative 3, yan, ito yung ating conjugate axis. Pag binilang ngayon natin yan, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yung 2b natin is equals 12. Write the standard equation. So sa standard equation natin ngayon, vertical yung ating transverse axis. So yung y naman yung magiging positive. So kapag vertical yung transverse, yung standard equation natin ay y, ito natin ang black, y minus k squared, ang denominator pa rin niya is a squared, minus x minus h squared over b squared equals 1. Ayan. Ito yung center natin at saka yung 2a. Substitute lang natin dito sa ating standard equation. So y minus negative 1, negative 3, y minus negative 3 squared. Ito yung k, minus, purahin na natin ito. Center natin is at negative 1, negative 3. So x minus negative 1 squared all over dito. Ang a natin is 5, 5 squared. Dito naman, ang b natin ay 6 squared equals 1. So, ayusin lang natin yung mga sign, tsaka simplify yung denominator. So, magiging y, ito negative, negative, plus 3 squared over 25 minus x plus 1 squared over 36 equals 1. Ito na yung standard equation. Then we are also asked to determine or identify the coordinates of the foci. Again, kailangan natin C para ma-locate natin yung foci. So yung C natin, ang formula niya is square root of A squared plus B squared. Ang A natin is ito, 5. 5 squared plus B natin ay 6. So 6 squared. Square root of 25 plus 36. Square root of 61. So square root of 61 is equal to 7.81. 7.81. Ito yung C natin. Again, yung C natin is the distance between the center and the focus. So, locate na natin yung ating foci. Again, C is equal to 7.81. So, ito yung center natin. Yung center natin ay nasa negative 1, negative 3. So, bibilang tayo ng 7.81 from the center. Pataas at saka pababa naman. Kasi horizontal ngayon yung transverse axis natin. So, from the center, bilang tayo ng 7.81. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.81. So, saan ngayon mapupunta? So, mapupunta siya sa focus 1 is at negative 1, 4.81. Okay? Next, focus number 2 naman, pababa. Bilang tayo ulit ng 7.81. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.81. Ayan. So, focus 2 is at -1. Mapupunta ngayon kay -10.81. Ayan pa. Okay? So, ganun lang yung pag-identify ng foci kapag given yung graph ng hyperbola. So, for your assignment, pakisagutan nito. Exercise letter A yan. Yan, letter A to. Exercise letter A, apat na item lang to. Exercise number 4, letter A. Ayan. So, given yung graph ng hyperbola, identify the center, transverse axis, conjugate axis, standard equation, and foci. So, isa-send ko sa inyo yung copy nito. Next. Example number 3. Example number 3, given naman dito yung equation ng hyperbola. Ayan, standard form. And we are asked to identify the center, length of transverse axis, and conjugate axis. So kapag standard equation, medyo madali yung ah, pag-identify kasi given na yon sa standard equation. So for example, identify the center. So yung center natin is HK. Huwag niyo lang kakalimutan na yung H kapartner ni X, yung K kapartner ni Y. So ito yung X natin, yan, ang kapartner niya ay si H. Tapos pag kinuha natin yung coordinates, babalik rin natin yung sign. Kung positive to, gagawin mo -2. Ito naman negative, so +4. So the center is at -2, +4. Identify the length of the transverse axis. Si transverse axis, lagi siyang nasa denominator ng positive, yung unang denominator. Kaya lang yung nasa unang denominator, this is equivalent to uh, equal to sa a squared. So a squared is equal to 4. So a is equal to 2. Then, yung transverse axis natin is twice of a. So 2 times 2, that is 4. So 2a is equals 4. Conjugate axis, ito naman yung denominator ng negative or yung pangalawang denominator. Kaya lang kapag given yung standard equation, naka-equate siya sa b squared. So b squared is equal to 9, b is equals 3. So 2b or conjugate axis is equal to 6. So kailangan natin siyang i-multiply by 2. Okay? So ganyan kapag given yung standard form. So ganyan yung pag-extract ng mga information. Example number 4. So, ganun pa rin, given yung equation, identify the center, transverse axis, and conjugate axis. So, sa center, HK, ang kapartner ni H ay si X, si K ay kay Y. Kapag kinuha, mapabalik na rin yung sign. So, X minus 3, so yung H natin dito is +3, Ang y natin ay positive 2. Yung transverse axis natin, makukuha natin siya sa unang denominator. But again, this is equivalent to a squared. So a squared is equal to 9. A is 3. Kailangan natin tong i-multiply by 2 to find the length of the transverse axis. So 6. 2a is equal to 6. Dito naman, sa kabila, ay, ito naman yung b natin, b squared, or yung conjugate axis. So b squared is equal to 25. B is 5. 2b is 10. So the length of the conjugate axis is 10. Yan. So ganun yung pag-solve kapag ang given naman ay standard equation ng hyperbola.